Good morning, friends. Ann here. Got my cup of coffee, got the Word of God, and today's reading is from Mark chapter 14, verses 1 through 11. Friends, today is Wednesday of Holy Week, and it is the day that we remember Jesus being anointed with oil. So let me set the stage for you. They are all there in Jerusalem getting ready to celebrate the Passover feast. It was a couple of days before that, and they were all gathered together. And while they were having dinner together, this woman named Mary came and did this extravagant act of worship. So let's read about it and then we'll talk some more about it. It says this in verse 3, while he was in Bethany, reclining at the table in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume made of pure nard. She broke the jar and poured the perfume on Jesus's head. Some of those present were saying indignantly to one another, "Why this waste of perfume? It could have been sold for more than a year's wages and the money given to the poor." And they rebuked her harshly. "Leave her alone," said Jesus. "Why are you bothering her? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, and you can help them anytime you want, but you will not always have me. She did what she could. She poured perfume on my body beforehand to prepare for my burial. Truly, I tell you, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." Now listen to this. Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priests to betray Jesus to them. They were delighted to hear this and promised to give him money, so he watched for an opportunity to hand him over. Friends, what is Jesus worth to you? Jesus was worth everything to this woman. He was worth her entire savings, her entire inheritance. This little alabaster jar with this perfume of nard would have been worth about a year's worth of wages. And when she broke the jar, there was no other way to get into it. So it's not like she could say, "Well, Jesus, I'll give you just a little bit." She had to break the jar and she anointed him with oil. Friends, in this act, she was declaring that he was the Messiah. Messiah means the anointed one. But yet there were people standing around, and really it sounded very spiritual what they were saying. "Jesus, you could have used all of this to feed the poor. What a waste." And maybe some of them were really feeling that. But what we know is that Judas, as the one of the disciples who was in charge of the money, he wasn't worried about feeding the poor because he was worried about skimming off the top. He thought, if this woman would have sold this alabaster jar and given it to us, I could have had something too. That Jesus isn't worth all of this expense that she has gone through. He didn't think that Jesus was worth it. And because he was not going to get his needs met as he saw them in order to provide this extra money for himself, he just decided to be done. He decided that Jesus wasn't worth it. Following Jesus wasn't worth it. He wasn't going to give everything that he had in order to follow Jesus. And Jesus wasn't going to give him what he needed. And so for Judas, the price of Jesus was 30 silver coins. What Jesus was worth to Judas was 30 silver coins. What Jesus was worth to this woman was everything. Earlier in Mark, Jesus says, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength." Friends, that is exactly what this woman is doing. She is loving Jesus with everything. But there were some who refused to do that. So friends, today consider, what is Jesus worth to you? Have a good day.